Hi, this is Jackie. I'm back with you to go over some signs that we did today in class. More phrases actually than just plain signs. And so this will give you a little bit of opportunity to practice before we come back together. All right, let's start out with, hi, how are you? And this is a standard greeting. Let's do that again. Hi, how are you? And your answer might be fine, or so-so, or even sick. You use the two middle fingers, put it at your forehead, your chest, or your tummy. Actually, it's more your tummy. Oh, sick or ill. Hopefully you're fine. Okay, when you say, my name is, you would point to yourself, the name, tap twice, and then you would spell your name, and then point to yourself again. And you might say, name you, or you might say, you name you, or you could say, you name what? You. So there's several different ways you can phrase that. Then after you have met this person, you might say, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you with two D fingers, two D hands, okay? And then if you're going to ask the person, where are you from? You'd point to the person, you, from, where? And remember the where is a D hand, where? You. So you, from, where? You. Or you could just say, live where? You. So a couple different ways of saying that. And then if the person had asked you that, you could say, I live, the L finger's coming from the stomach up, live. And you could say FWB for Fort Walton Beach, or you could do D fingers and flick them to the side, and that is Destin. It's like you're going fishing. Those are fishing poles, going to Destin to go fishing. Or you could go to Pensacola. If you're from Pensacola, you would do a P and just click it against your palm a couple of times. Pensacola. Or in my case, Shalimar, I would just spell out SHALIMAR, Shalimar. If you're from another state, remember that I'm going to give you the link to the YouTube that, where the person goes over all 50 states. And that will be easier for you to go through than me try and go through all the states here. And you might say, or the person could ask you, you, deaf, you? And then you would say, no, I, hearing, I. Or, you know, if you were asking the person, you, deaf, you, they might say, yes, I, deaf, I. And then when we talk about names, you could say name you. We talked about that, but you could say I name and spell your name. We talked about that. And if you were going to tell what someone else's name, you would point to that person name and then spell that person's name. And then you might say he, deaf, he. That would just mean he's deaf. And you could talk about learning ASL, and you could say, I learn ASL, or signing, I. And, or she learning, signing, she. Also, if you wanted to know the person's last name, you know how when you introduce yourself to someone, you usually say your first name and maybe your last name, but maybe not. if you're just in a small group that you're breaking them up into groups for something, you might say, I'm Jackie, or whatever your name is. But if the person wanted to know your last name, they might say, you last name you, or you last name what? And so if you hold out your non-dominant hand with your pinky out and you take your index finger and brush it down that pinky, that means last. Remember, first is your thumb. Thumb is first on your hand. Pinky is last. So first and last. So then you could ask the last name. I had someone ask a couple of questions. One is, how would you say, please be quiet? And you would just use the quiet sign, which is universal. Quiet, please. And also, God bless you. God is where you take your palm, turn sideways, and you go up and down to your forehead. Bless you. So, God bless you. Okay, go over those phrases and then watch the video on the states that are signed, and you'll be really all set for next week. Have a wonderful week.